We've been going at it for a few days now, just installing all of the exterior bat product. We have the Comfortbatt R15. So you can see what's nice about this product. It actually stands up kind of on its own. Now this is only our 3.5-inch bat. It's gonna cut. I actually preferred using just this little one. It's the smaller serrated blade that I think really helps, especially just for cutting this product. And it's real nice to cut around outlet boxes. Now I've already done it. The lighting has been horrible. As you can see, I'm using artificial light again because it's raining out when I plan on doing all these videos. But that being said, basically it's really easy to cut. You're going to shape it and mold it any way that you really want. You could put it back together. You could see, you know, I didn't have the full length. So these bats come in 47 inches. My total ceiling height was about 96 true inches. So I needed to fill in a 2-inch gap. So what I always like to do first, and I'm actually going to remove this so you can kind of see one whole cavity. And there's a good chance there's a wire in here as well. Yep. So there's a wire. Again, I kind of showed you the outlet box. But one thing I do is I call it the Pac-Man. So that's the technical term for this. So instead of with fiberglass bats where you're actually kind of, you know, peeling it apart and then sliding it down, you actually do something like this. And you basically put it right in, just like this. And again, I also like to say, and when you're actually installing it, I always say gentle hands. You know, you don't want to be pushing the bat in because you actually want to make sure that you're not over compressing the bat inside of the wall cavity. So this is a proper way of install. My substrate, again, I have 2 inches of continuous insulation on this project. So I have an R8.4 plywood. My Siga membrane is on the outside too. This is R15 Comfortbatt. And then I'm gonna do an interior air barrier, which I'm also gonna get into. So one of the other nice things about ROCKWOOL and using this, first of all, you can kind of see it's just a nice feeling product. But I could actually hang it up in this stud cavity. There's an air gap. Now I have this air gap, and how am I gonna fill it? I'm basically just gonna find a scrap. Typically there's always scraps. You could actually just kind of pull that back and just push it right in. So that's pretty much it on the walls. We're gonna go tackle the ceiling next. This is R38. This is one of our newer products. So you can see just the sheer thickness of that. That's 9.5 inches thick. Now I also have another layer on top of the joist, which is perpendicular. That's gonna really help with thermal bridging. So it's gonna really help with the total R value of that system too, which I'm ultimately gonna have an R76. So cutting the thicker bat, and you can kind of see by blade length, the longer blade actually works really nice. Plus, there's actually a smaller tooth that really dives right into this. Really nice. It rips it apart a little bit more, but it's really quick to cut through such a thick bat. So I don't actually have any cuts. This is where a plumbing line is going to eventually go. That I actually just took one of these knives and kind of just made a little circle. Now with other products, I know you open up a hole like that anywhere, it's going to be a mess. So I'm going to show you guys how to install this bat. And also see just how dense this is. Like you're paying for a better product here. This is just really, really nice. So when you're installing, you want to I actually like starting it so my line is kind of the bottom of the stud over on that side. So you can see I'm missing it, but there is a nice give to this. And then you're going to just use your hands to get it in there. And then you're just going to push it right on up. Friction fit. So we have 16-inch on center and 24-inch on center for all your applications. You're going to find that it's really nice to cut, work with. But that's basically the ceiling. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to go show you my air detail, my air sealing detail for a recessed light. I'm using wafers, but that's going to be next. So here I am at one of my airtight sealing boxes. So this is something we're ending up using wafer cans. You could actually do the same exact thing, mount your recessed light right in here. The wafers that I'm using, and the reason why I went with this method, is really because I didn't want the air barrier going across the top, and they're taking a 4-inch hole saw right to that. So I spent a little extra time here. Not sure how it would really be if you ended up just drilling through. I didn't want to take that chance. So what I did, I basically just took these boxes. I made these boxes out of the interior air control layer that I'm using. So then what you do, you take your piece of ROCKWOOL, you measure this. This is the Comfortbatt R38. I made the boxes so they're at the top of the 2x10, so it's a perfect fit. And all you're gonna do is really friction fit it right in. I put it up against the wire first, that side, and then you can just kind of push it right in place. So you can tell when you're doing this, it's not going anywhere. You do want to make sure when you're pushing that in that your air barrier is still popping out so you have something to tape to all the way around. But that's pretty much it. Now we could just kind of put the continuous air barrier across the top, and we're going to do that next. So I ended up rolling the air barrier, continuous air barrier, right over the top of the box, cutting out, and then simply taping around the edges. So then that way now, if you see, it's still continuous air barrier. The guy could drill his hole. If he messes up the ROCKWOOL, it's okay. It's not really going to go anywhere, and he's not plunge cutting into this stuff. So even if he wrecks up a little bit, it's still up in the ceiling. And that's basically the way that I did these wafer cans. But again, you could do recessed lights. You obviously would need to trim out more of the Comfortbatt here. But all in all, this is a great tip. It really didn't take, it took me about 8 minutes a box to do. And now I'm just going with my continuous air barrier on the inside. While I'm actually up here, I wanted to bring up, I had taped actually up here from the outside, from the house wrap. And it went in from the top joist. Randy Williams actually gave me this great tip of taking the tape and actually using the hammer stapler to tack it up. So then when I'm actually installing this, it's going up there and it's going to have a nice tight seal, and you could push the tape into the new membrane. And then I actually curled it down a little bit just so then it's an easier tape joint to get. But that's basically my air tightness continuity from the exterior to the interior of the building.